All right, here we're doing a site inspection for a home buyer in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and let's walk it. Good setup here. I like to always park on the road just to avoid people asking me to move my vehicle when I show up. So I walk down the side with the best access and I look to see if a machine can get through here, which it can. There's good access. I think the buyer will be meeting with us, so I like to let them do all the talking and just listen. There's Candace. She's got a pink Atlantic shirt on. And here comes the buyer. Hey Candace. You talk to him in there? Yeah. He's coming down now? That's okay, I'll talk to him. Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm Bobby.
Bobby, I'm Adam.
Nice to
You met Candace?
meet you. Yeah, I met her inside.
Cool. So you're in the process of inspecting this place and hopefully...
Yeah, we got a bid on it.
find
It's,
Nice to meet
we're
you.
waiting for it all to go through. We should close on the 24th, so...
Cool. Where are you guys from?
California.
Oh, sweet. That's
Yeah.
a move.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I used to live in Tampa years ago, but then we moved to California and then came back out here. We just got out here about 3 weeks ago. Something like that, so... I'm gonna buy this.
So that's cool. You got a neat place here. What attracted you the most to this setup here? Do you plan on using the lift?
Oh yeah. That's what we wanted, on the water to put a boat in and go.
Okay.
Get a couple of jet skis for the boys when they come out. So I just want to make sure this is all what's all good with it and everything. I think it's supposed to be a 10,000 pound lift.
Okay.
Yeah, just
go through what's
it
here.
needs to work, because we were at another house we lived, but that was in Plantation.
Okay.
And it had a smaller. It didn't have the step down dock. It had about the dock like that, and it was pretty hit. Definitely needed redecking and that, you know. I just want to, make sure it looks solid, the pylons and everything, but that's what I want you to come out and let me know with the lift and everything.
Do you, if you end up closing on this place, would you want to make any changes to it, or basically just kind of use it as is? I know you said jet skis and stuff. That lift there, you could actually put 2 jet skis on if you ever wanted to.
Right.
You just add a set bunk, so just so you're aware.
Well, I want the boat and the jet skis, so
Right,
I don't know if I'll put lifts in or if I, the floating docks. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, you could do that here.
Yeah, I don't know how. That's the next step.
Okay.
But I just want to make sure this thing is all good.
Sure. What's here? I'll check it out.
Yeah. I don't know where the power is, but I'm sure there's a switch inside to turn all the lights and make sure that all.
If you want to turn the power on, I'll check and see if the lights are on, and then I can...
I know the lift moves. I hit the button, the lift, I could hear the motors come on.
Already? Today you did?
Yeah, so I know that, but I don't know where the switches are.
It could be on a solar
too,
that's the
or
thing.
Timer.
Right.
Yeah, something.
Well, if you figure out how to turn them on, I'll let you know if they work.
Okay,
all right. Other than that, I'll check the operation of the lift and make sure all the conduits are secure.
Gotcha. So you live out here, obviously. How would you do a jet ski thing?
If it was me?
Yeah.
If it was me,
I'm going to use the boat, so I'm buying a boat, so we're going to definitely use that lift. So for jet skis.
You have 2 options in my opinion. One would be to do a floating dock, which is your cheaper way.
Okay.
The downside of that is it's always in the water and you have to figure a way to get to it.
Right.
So at times that can be challenging.
Gotcha.
If it was me, I would invest in another 4-post boat lift and put it on the inside there.
In here?
On the inside.
Right.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
And I would make it into a platform lift. like a 12 by 12 platform lift with graded decking, so that you could go up and down with it, and that way you could have 2 jet skis on there. You could actually walk onto it. You could lower it down.
Okay.
I have a couple pictures I can show you.
Yeah,
it's a concept that you know, a lot of the lift companies are kind of doing that now, but it's more of a custom situation because it would just allow you easy access.
That's what I was thinking, just coming in this way somehow. With a lift or something.
Oh, is Nancy calling? Or Nancy? That's
one way.
Hey, it's Adam. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, if you go over everything, let me know. What do you think?
No problem.
Yeah. So I know where to go from there. That's what I was thinking. Over in this area here, because when you'd come in from that way.
Yeah.
So I would put
I mean, either side really.
Yeah.
It would be okay, but you can see people have attempted to do your concept there, but look, you know, you see that down there?
Yeah.
You see how difficult that would be to get up and down that dock ladder?
Yeah, getting up and
with gear and fuel.
Right.
You know? So anyway, keep that in mind. A lot of people don't really think about that until they get it, and then they end up sitting empty and just sinking.
Gotcha.
You know? So you wouldn't even have to do a platform lift. Really, you could do a lift over here and just have the jet skis like nose in or back in or something, so you could just step right on them. You could do a couple small walk boards if you didn't want to invest in a big platform lift.
Gotcha.
You know?
Sure. Okay. All right, I'll let you do your thing.
All right,
man.
sounds good.
Give me your advice.
All right, we'll write it up and let you know.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Nice meeting you. So, how's it going, Candace?
I like your shirt.
Thank you, sir.
So this is like kind of a unique property because there's no seawall.
Right.
They wanted me to look at the shoreline,
Yeah.
which I'm, you know, I told them I would for like erosion issues and stuff.
Right.
So with that being said, there's really not too much you can inspect here other than, you know, to know a couple areas where it's like a little bit inconsistent, and that's probably where the water's just kind of eroding down through there. So you're not allowed to build seawalls here. The only thing that you can do is add riprap, which is like the rock boulders to control the erosion.
Right.
And you have to get the approvals through South Florida Water Management District for this canal.
How do you know that? Just offhand?
Just offhand because I kind of know this area, and this canal is managed by them, even all the way back up there. So
no one's really attempted that, it looks like.
There's some places where I think if you build a new dock, they almost make you put rock back in. But from my experience, that's the only thing that you can do to stabilize it.
Okay.
But I would just on the report, you can indicate that there is no current shoreline hardening, and it's a natural shoreline with like a 2-to-1 slope, horizontal slope is what I would call it, and it's got you know, sod along it. However, the irrigation is not working. Look at the neighbor's yard. You can take a picture of that.
Okay.
So I would suggest, like, if they want a better yard, to get sprinklers, because that will help it grow and help maintain it.
Okay.
You can show them a picture of the neighbor's yard, how not to let it look. You don't want all that vegetation to overtake it. Sometimes, like, if I really, I'll explain it since we're here, we might as well make it worth it. But like, the best way to do it would be like to figure out how high this is, so you can tell them like, okay, the slope, you know, it's a little overkill for the inspection we're doing, but just so you understand, like, because there's no seawall here, and we did charge them to look at it, try to give them some information, you know, but like, you see how the top of this deck is the same height of the berm? I can figure out how high it is by just calculating it. So basically, you know, I'll just bend it right here. It's like not. It's like an 8 foot elevation change. that actually would tell you your slope. Not that it matters, but so you understand. 14. So if it was a 2-to-1 slope perfectly and it came up 8, it would go out 16.
Okay.
So it's just under that.
Okay.
But 2-to-1 is like what we do for the rock riprap and stuff. But this is like, this slope was like maintained and put in by South Florida Water Management. So it's not, I don't even know if it's his responsibility to maintain it other
Right.
than under his dock.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like weird things like that. But at this point, there's no real problems.
At the shoreline.
Right. Now, one thing you do want to always check is like under the dock, where it meets is where you'll always have erosion under here. Pretty much every time. At least a little bit. I mean, you can see when you go under here, it's very little on this dock, but generally it always erodes under there, and we have to build like a little retaining wall
Yeah.
right here to prevent dirt from going down through here. But see how like this is low? You know, this isn't perfect.
Yeah.
You know, if you have an elderly couple, you wouldn't really want a 3-inch lip right here. So you can make a note of that, you know, ideally there would be how we do it, just so you understand too. It's probably way more information than you need, but it's helpful to know.
If I get the reason.
We take, like, okay, so this dock is, let me do it this way. 6 feet wide. So I would probably get a 12-foot board, and put it right in the, you know, 6 foot right in the middle. And you see how far it would come?
Yeah.
This way?
Mm-hmm.
So then once this 2x8 is run this way, then you can take in smaller pieces and cut a triangle at the bottom that are like 3 foot long, like, and just jam them in this way.
Okay.
And then backfill up against it with like a crushed rock or something, so it locks it in.
Okay.
If they find it erodes more there. So I'd say that's good for the shoreline.
Okay.
Let's do the dock now.
Perfect.
So, like this first deck board is not in good condition. See all this? I could probably just break it. Like, you just see how it's like kind of a little beat up. It's not like it's broken, but the decking is structurally sound. It's just a little rough, but it's been coated with a stain. This board right here, the first thing I do is just look at the decking to see what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
Like this board here is also starting to split out. You see that? It's like splitting. I literally, you have to like look at these deck boards, go like this. To really understand if it's good or not.
Need to switch for the lights.
All right, I'll see if I can find any not working. What do you notice when you walk out this way? When you get to the end? Let's see if she finds the part. What's your first thought when you walk to the end?
With the dock?
Yeah, with just the dock. Maybe if you stand this way, it'll help you.
It slopes?
Yeah, it's off level. So, why is it off level? They probably didn't build it that way, right?
Right.
What would cause it to go down?
The piles are.
Yeah, the lift pilings. They attached the lift to the same pilings that support the dock, and they sunk a few inches. So to fix it, you would just unbolt the framing and lift it up. Using this with the come along and stuff, you just level this out. That's how you fix it.
Okay. And then put it back on?
I don't mean anything up here. I'm just saying you could use this as a place to put a strap.
Oh, okay.
And then go down to here and just use a come along and pull it up.
Oh.
Like use it like a crane, and then you reattach it.
Okay.
So we would re-bolt the framing to level this out. That's pretty level down there, and that's level there. These two just sunk.
Okay.
So when you do the dock, I like to tell them how, in addition to like how many square feet it is, like you'll have to measure this length. This part here is called the access, and this is called the terminal. So you'll have to say, okay, the terminal is this long by 6 feet, and the terminal is this long by 6 feet. You know, this stringer spacing is
What is stringer spacing?
this.
Oh.
Center to center of this
Okay.
is 29 inches. That's really more than you would want to see. Really, this should have had 2 center stringers.
Oh.
Really. But it's not like it's weak. I wouldn't really say it's built incorrectly, but you could not put PVC back over this. You'd have to basically add 2 sets of stringers to redeck this. So then, before we look underneath the dock, I would look at the pilings. Although they have piling caps, they drilled holes so close to the top. This is what happens.
Yeah.
They start splitting. So then it just makes the piling allow water to get in. It's not really a massive problem. The pole is working, but it just looks bad. So for the dock, you can stand here and look. I'll show you. See that hardware there? The bolts?
Yep.
That's hot dip galvanized. Look at that one. It's not stainless steel. Stainless steel is like this. Look, it's just shinier. Look.
Right.
That's like a gray.
Yeah.
It's a gray.
Right.
It's rougher.
Okay.
So you don't want to use that. Older docks they did. This dock is probably 15 years old, maybe.
I think it was 96.
How old was it? It's so older than that.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I looked it up.
Oh, you did? That's cool. All right, well, that's cool. Well, how'd you find that? Was a permit on the dock?
I just did property appraiser.
That's great. Give them that information when it was built, when the permit. That's cool that you can tell them that. You can even send them it. It's really helpful.
Okay.
It's valuable.
I was going to ask them if it was the original one, but I don't know if they would know.
It probably is. It probably is.
What did you call those? The grayer looking?
A hot dipped galvanized. You can abbreviate it HDG.
Hardware.
Yeah. So the lowest piece of wood that you see there, I call that the cross buck. That's a 2x8 that goes from piling to piling, and then the stringers sit on top of that, which we measured center to center on already.
Right.
So you can stand from this angle, you know, really it should have had another one on that side at minimum.
Okay.
You know, when we build them with Chris, he does one on each side with 2 bolts.
Yeah.
That's how we do them. So, you know, the dock is safe and it's not, you know, wrong, but that's like bare minimum, and I don't even think would pass code now. If you designed it this way and turned it in, they'd say, why is there just one? Probably because of the load count. I don't know an engineer who would do it, is what I mean.
Right.
That's why you have to get engineered plans.
Yep.
So if they had any problems with the dock, they could always add another one on the other side and put stainless steel bolts, 2 stainless steel bolts around that one in the center, one on top, one on bottom.
Okay.
That's how you would stabilize the dock more. From that point, you could add stringers or do whatever, but the pilings are wrapped. You see that black wrap? So are the lift pilings. You just hope that they did that when they were first installed and not like 10 years later. The only way to know is to get in and take it off or feel around, and it depends on where you are in the water. You know, this is a brackish area. There's fresh water dumping out up there all the time. Sometimes you don't have nearly the problems with barnacles and marine deterioration. They could be perfect. It's weird. So when I see stuff like that, I say that, really that pole's in good shape.
Okay.
It's got piling wrap. It's got a piling cap. I don't like to see holes in them. It's got galvanized hardware, which is not good. It'll rust it out. But, and this piling spacing, without me even looking, I can tell it's more than 10. When Chris does it, it's 10 foot on center max. This is probably 12.
Yeah, it's long.
Right? So I bet if I go in the middle, it probably feels a little bouncy.
It looked like it.
It's still pretty strong, but, it's just not ideal. So since he asked us about the lights, we might as well, they're off now.
It looks like this is the only one not working.
You looked? Which one?
Yeah, this one. The other.
Okay.
Will work.
So that would be the southwesternmost dock piling was not working. The electrical receptacle here has been replaced like really recently. You can tell it looks new. So what's he got plugged into it? Maybe his boat lift. So when you see that, that means that the lift is wired at 110 volts, not 220, which is fine. It's just not as efficient. And we do all our wiring at 220. So I'm not sure, really, we don't really ever just plug in a remote like that.
Okay.
But I'll operate it and see how it works.
Okay.
You can tell he just replaced the motor cover or something. You see that new motor?
Yep.
So, it just looks super shiny, this piece. It's not the original one.
What weight is this?
It's not clearly marked, but it does say 10. So it's a 10. I like to give him a picture of the rated capacity sticker. I tell him who makes it, Boat Lift US. It's a gear drive, 10,000 pound, 4-post cradle lift with a remote control Tech 2. I look at the cables to make sure there's no spurs on them. You have to kind of like literally run your hand down them and then look and feel. And then you have to make sure every cable, I look to see if it spins like that. You see how you can move them?
Yeah.
I go out there and I wiggle them.
And you want that, right? You want them to...
Yeah, you want them to be freely moving. Sometimes if they're seized, I can tell that they'll probably be good. This lift, you don't really want to see marine growth on the lower beams. He probably just hasn't kept it high enough or something. But I'll go out there and I'll check the outside. But when you do your pictures, I don't take tons of pictures of the lift. I just do like maybe 3. One overall, one of that, one from a different angle. But, this has aluminum bunks. All the guideposts are here. This isn't good. You see this? If he goes up any farther, it'll hit. That's probably why he's got it so low. And yeah, that's it. See, that's another reason why it's important to have the boat centered in the boat lift. They scooted it all over. And now he can't go up any higher, and it's causing marine growth on there. And if they put a boat on here, the center of gravity wouldn't be in the center of the lift, so. Let's go up or down with it. I just operate it a little bit, really. I just make sure it goes up and down, and then I don't even need to go out there because this one's working and I can see that the pulleys are spinning. A lot of times right here where the boat lift sets on top of the pole, it'll be corroded because this stuff flakes off or was never put in correctly and the chemicals burn it up. You don't really see any. See, this is the well made where they have this real thick piece of, but like some boat lifts, they'll just really start corroding. This one's not bad.
Physically put on the top of this piling?
Mm-hmm. Or it came with the lift, really.
Okay.
And then it just sets it on there like a barrier.
What do you do? Is that typical to happen? Or it should have been?
You mean the way it's cracking?
Yeah.
This is not typical. This looks just like a poor product that was a little bit brittle, but generally we use a real thick, high-grade pile wrap material like Neptune gives us, and it won't do that. But then sometimes I'll look at the electrical and say, it's not correctly attached out there. You see how that conduit's so low? The pipe really doesn't even come up high enough in my opinion, because it'll fill up with water over time. This pipe here is just wobbling, not even screwed in, you know? I don't really get into like checking water lines or messing with hoses ever. So when you take your pictures, I like to give them at least like 2 pictures under the dock. So what I would do is, if you're able, you could do one dock, like depending on, sometimes it's not so sharp like that, you can get underneath of it.
Right.
But I would do one maybe like shooting this way,
Okay.
kind of like as low as you can, so you can see kind of like the framing and stuff, because when you look at it on a computer, you may look closer and see something you don't. And then you can do one like, you know, facing this way, just so you can see like underneath both sides.
Okay.
But like, you know, stuff like this, you know, this is a rusted screw. The electrical isn't really high quality by any means, nor does it meet code.
Right.
So you can. All right, so what I'll do now is we can work together. I'll show you how I measure stuff out if you want, and then you can take pictures. I'll give you some advice there.
Okay.
All right, so